Namaste. Welcome to Shastra's online MA program. This is the continuation of the Yoga Sutra class. I welcome you all to yet another episode of the Yoga Sutra class. And we had discussed about the distinct identity of Ishvara. We are continuing from where we left that discussion. In earlier class, we discussed about the Ishvara's distinct identity. That is through the sutra, Klesha Karma Vipakashayaihi Aparamrishtaha Purusha Visheshaha Ishvaraha. So Ishvara was defined as someone who had neither kleshas that are normally to afflict all the jivas. We, the jivas, always are afflicted by the five kleshas: avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. These five kleshas are uniformly affecting all the jivas, but not the Ishvara. Though both Jiva and Ishvara are identified under the broad identity called Purusha, but we, the Jivas, are normally Purusha and Purusha Vishesha. That is why he is also Purusha, but not a normal one, but a special one. As Ishvara being identified as a special Purusha, we all become a normal, mortal beings. So, what is the speciality of the Ishvara? Then, how the Ishvara is a distinct one, a special one? What is the speciality in Ishvara? That is displayed in this next sutra. So, Patanjali, Ishvarasya Vaishishtyam Varnayati. What is the speciality of that Ishvara? How he is separate from normal jivas like you and I. That is being discussed in this current sutra. Atha tatra pramanamaha. What is the pramanam for Ishvara to be a distinct one, not as part of this jiva goshti? Tatra niratishayam sarvajna bijam. The sarvajnatvam of Ishvara is the one that differentiates between the jiva and Ishvara. Nirvidyate Atishayam, there is absolutely nothing to attribute to the Ishvara, because he is someone who was always a pure one. Sarvajnatvam, Sarvagatatvam, Sarvantaryamitvam. These three qualities are always there with Bhagavan alone, the Ishvara alone, not the Jiva. That is the Sarvajnatvam. We all, the humans, the Jivas, have limited knowledge. Whatever knowledge, how much ever extensive knowledge you may have, but still that cannot be equated with the jnanam of the Ishvara. Okay, so Ishvara, Bhutam, Bhavyam, Bhavishyat, he knows everything. Even a yogi also knows everything, but even a mukta was also once a samsari. Then he became mukta, but Ishvara was never a baddha. That's why this identity is very separate and special also. So, tatra niratishayam sarvajna bijam. Tasa sarvajnatvasya bijam hetuho yadasti tati niratishayam. Absolutely there is no any parlance with anyone in this world. Okay, Ishvare Anantam Atyadikam Analpam and Anantam Sarvajnatayaha Bijam Asti. There is absolutely no end. Whereas humans have limitations and Ishvara has no limited jnanam. His knowledge is limitless. So the limitlessness is probably the dividing factor between humans and Ishvara. Humans are different. All the humans don't have same amount of knowledge. The knowledge of the individuals differ from person to person. Someone might know one Veda, someone might know two Vedas, someone might know even three Vedas, someone might know all the four Vedas and Shadangas and all Shastras. Very, very brilliant. But he would probably be the best among the humans, but he can never be equated with Bhagavan, Ishvara. Because whatever that he knows is only a limited one. அதனால we normally say வல்லவனுக்கு வல்லவன் வையகத்தில் உண்டு. Whoever vallavan you may be, but there could still be some more vallavan than you would be there in the world. So nobody can claim, nobody can boast that I am the boss of all the knowledge. No. If someone claims so, immediately to cut him into size, Bhagavan will send you someone who could probably be able to beat him in his knowledge. So all the jivas have very limited knowledge. However great they are, still in comparison with God, the Ishvara, his knowledge is limited. So this unlimited knowledge is the identity, special identity of the Ishvara. What Yodha Sudhakara of Sadashiva Brahmendra had to say here, Tatra Ishvare Niratishayam Sarvajñatvasya Bijam. Tadeva Moolam, Tadeva base. Yedaduktam Bhavati. It is said here, Asmadadi Jnanam, Niratishayena Jnanena, Avinabhutam, Satishayatva. We all have whatever best knowledge that we may have, all our knowledge is limited. Atishayena Sahitam, Satishayam. Whatever knowledge that normally one cannot see anywhere, but still that is under some limitations. But Asmadadi Jnanam or Satishayam, Bhagavata Ishwarasya Jnanam Niratishayam. There is absolutely no comparison at all. Yate Satishayam Tati Samana Jatiyena Niratishayena Yuktam. Yatha Vibhu Parinamena Kumbha Parimanam. Vibhu Parimanam, Vibhu is someone that is all pervasive. Ours is Kumbha Parimanam. Kumbha is a ghata. Whatever akasha that you may find, it is only limited to that Kumbha, that Kalasha alone. But when the Kalasham is broken, it also becomes one with the entire universe. So whatever the universe or the space, whatever space that the Kumbha has, both are different here, because the Kumbha Parimanam Savachinnam, there is an avacheda is there. Kumbha is an avachedaka. Whatever the space that you see there inside the Kumbha. So that is why the knowledge of the individuals, knowledge of the humans are limited, however best they could be, but that cannot be equated with the jnanam of Ishvara. Ataha parisheshat, by default, Anumana Siddha Niratishaya Jnanavan Ishvaraha iti. So since Ishvara's reach is beyond, human reach is limited, Ishvara's knowledge is beyond our reach. That is why through the inference we decide the Ishvara's knowledge is Niratishayam. This is how you have to differentiate between the Jiva and Ishvara in terms of the amount of knowledge that one may have. A human will have very limited knowledge, whereas the Ishvara's knowledge is unlimited. That is the thing that we need to understand here through this sutra. Adha Maharshihi Patanjalihi Ishwarasya Nityatvam Pratipadayati. The Ishvara, the Jivas are having very limited lifespan. However, long time you may live, but still you have, even for Brahma, Brahmana Dvitiya Parardhe Shveta Varaha Galpe, we say lakhs and lakhs of years are attributed to the Brahma. But still there is a limit. After that lakhs and lakhs of years of time, even the Brahma will be replaced by someone else. Another new Brahma will be there. So even Brahmadi Stambha Pariyantam, whoever is there will have limited lifespan, whereas Bhagavan is Nitya. He will always be there and there will never be an end to the Bhagavan. So this is also something that defines both Ishvara and Jiva. Nanu ayam ekaha Ishvaraha eva Ishvaraha kim anyepi santi na. Is there really only one God or more than one gods? Naiva. Saha purvesham api guruhu kalena anavachedat. Whoever is the Guru Nama, elder. The Guru Shabda here means elder. For me, my father was elder. For him, my grandfather was the elder. For the younger generation, the earlier generation is elder generation. When you keep on moving, thus you even reach Brahma. Saha tadrishasya yaha Brahma bhavati tasmadapi prachinaha yataha kalena anavachhedat. There is no limit lifespan for Ishvara, whereas everyone else, even the Chaturmukha Brahma, the Srishtikarta, the creator, will have a limited lifespan. But that lifespan is more than what you and I have. Pala Maharshigalna solra, they live for 200 years, 300 years. Through the Yoga Balam, some people might even live for 400 years, 500 years. We have heard of those people. Even today we see some people from Himalayas who are said to be living for more than 100 years. 106 vayasu, 107 vayasu, 120 vayasu. So many things they claim. But everyone, once is born through the mother's womb, will meet the end. If not today, sometime in future. Nobody can be always living. Even the Ashwathama, Balirvyaso, Hanumanscha, Vibhishanaha, Kripaha, Parashuramascha, Saptaite, Chirajivinaha, we call them. But they were all once born. They may live. When they are going to end, that we don't know. They have been given a long life. But Ashwathama was earlier not there until he was born. Let it be Bali. Let it be Vyasa. Vyasa is Satyavati Sutaha. Parashara. Until Parashara's marriage with the Satyavati, Vyasa would not have born. So Vyasa's Adi is that. For Ishvara, there is neither Adi nor Anta. That is why even the Chirajivis cannot be taken as equal to God. Because they were all only living for a long life, but they were once born. But Ishvara was never someone, Ishvara's avatar. The Purna avatar, the Krishna avatar, Rama avatar, you may have Devaki as mother of Krishna and Kausalya as mother of Rama. But there are only Purna avatars or Amsha avatars or Purna avatars are different. But Bhagavan as such is neither birth nor faces the death that you and I or anyone for that matter would have. That is the deciding factor and defining factor. So, Srishte Purvesham api Guruhu. Yaha Purve Bhavanti, Tesham Purvesham, Itah Purvam Ye Bhavanti. In our Advaita Sampradaya or any Sampradaya, there will be a Guru Parampara. Narayanam Padmabhuvam Vasishtam Shaktim Cha Tatputra Parasharam Cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Mathasya Shishyam Shri Shankaracharyam Mathasya Padmapadam Cha Hastamalakam Cha Shishyam Tam Totakam Vartikakaramanyan Asmat Gurun Santata Manatosmi. We prostrate before our Guru Parampara. But Padmabhuva Paryantam you can go. Even the Padmabhuva is emanated from Swami's Nabhi. That is why he is Padmanabha. But as such, Bhagavan is never accepted to be born at any time. Only avatars can happen, but Bhagavan as such, the Brahma is always there. That is why Kalena Anavachhedat. There is absolutely no Avachheda is the defining factor. No, there is, you can never define the life of Bhagavan. So, Kalena Anavachhedat Purvesham api Brahma Paryantam api ye bhavanti Tesham api Guruhu asti saha. He was elder to all the ones who could be considered as an elder. He is eldest to the elders. अतः सृष्टेः आदौ ब्रह्मादयः अभूवन्. You see here, सृष्टेः आदौ ब्रह्मादयः अभूवन् तेषामपि एषः ईश्वरः एव इति नियामकः. Even Brahma was also created by Bhagavan. यतः प्राचीनतमस्य अस्य ईश्वरस्य कालपरिच्छेदः न वर्तते. Absolutely there is no time limit for Bhagavan. He was always there. Ye sargado utpannaha purve brahmadaya. Srishtigalude aarambathila utpanniyanavargal yaro brahmadigal te masa ritu ayana hayanadi rupena. Avangalukku masa kanakku undu, ritukal undu, ayanangal undu, hayanam varshangal undu. This is how the time is limited for others. Kalena parichidyante taduktam ye ramya ye shubhacharaha sumeru guravopi ye kalena virigirnaste garudene ipannagaha. Ye ramyaha ye shubhacharaha devatas, ye ramyaha those who are very beautiful, ye shubhacharaha those who have very good conduct, sumeru guravopi ye evam who are very very tall in the social order. Kalena vinigirnaste, but still they are all consumed by Kala. Garudena iva pannagaha. Pannagaha Garudena. Paambugale eppadi Garudena kotti kondu pogumo adhe mari Kalamum ivaragal ellariyum kotti kondu pogum. So from even starting from Brahma, all the created will be gone one day. अतः तेषामपि भगवान एक एव गुरुः ईश्वरः. तेषां ब्रह्मादि सर्वेषामपि गुरुः अयम् एल्डर् भवति ईश्वरः कालेन अनवच्छेदात्. यतः तस्य कालेन अवच्छेदकत्वम् अवच्छेद्यत्वं नास्ति. None can अवच्छेद the भगवान. अतः ञः कालकालः इति श्रुतेः, ञः कालकालः इति श्रुतेः. वेदास्य सो कालस्यापि कालः कः भगवान्. अनेन ईश्वरस्य महाप्रभवत्वम् उक्तं भवति. प्रभावत्वं न, द प्रभाव of ईश्वर is limitless. Whatever the power that he has, whatever the strength, whatever he has, this is something that cannot be equated with anyone else. That is the essence of this sutra. So naratishayam sarvajna bijam sah purvesham api guruhu kalena anavacheda. The sutras will define what the Ishvara's qualities are. Tasya vachakah pranavaha. If the Ishvara is there, what could be his name? Is the Ishvara is the name? Isha Shabdatu Varach Pratyaya, one who controls the entire creation. In this meaning, the word Ishvara has been created. Isha iti dhatu, Vara iti Pratyaya suffix. Together it made Ishvara the controller. The controller would have a name. You know, you have a prime minister. You also had prime ministers. You will also have prime ministers. But whoever is the prime minister today is not going to be the prime minister in another 10 years' time. The position called prime minister will always be there, but the person who occupies the chair cannot be there forever. That is, the Ishvara is not the name of the individual, but is the name of the position that he holds. So what is the name of that Ishvara? Tasya vachakaha pranavaha. Om. The pranava is the identity of that Ishvara. Tasya Ishvarasya vachakaha. The name that defines that entity is pranavaha. Ishvaran eppadi irpan? Pranava swarupa. Pranava swarupa vakratundam parame. This is the pranava swarupa. Pranavam na prakarshena nuyate stuyate anena. Iti the om gra pratyaya shabdam da sabhuriti vyaharati sabhuvim srijatana. First class here we have already seen how the sound was the cause for this creation. We had discussed in our earlier class. You may remember. This is om is the shabda. Shabde Brahmana nishtataha param brahmadi gacchati. The parabrahma is understood with this shabda, that is om. This om is the mantra. That is why in the introductory class itself I have told you omkarascha atha shabdascha dvavetau brahmanah pura. Brahma is not chaturmukha Brahma, para Brahma. Kantam Bhitva Viniryato. Those two sounds, Om and Atha, the two alone emanated from the kanthas of Parabrahma. Tasmat Mangalikau Ubhav. That is why these two are very, very, very sacred. So here the Omkara becomes the identity of that Parabrahma, Ishvara. Param cha tat Brahma, Parabrahma. Tasya Ishvarasya Vachakaha. Tasya Parameshwarasya Paramaschaso Ishvarasya. The supreme one who has another supreme to him. He is the supreme one. He is the Parameshwara. The Parameshwarasya Pranavaha. What the Pranava to the Parameshwara? Prakarshena Nuyate Stuyate. The Bhagavan is worshipped by the mantra called Om Pranava. It is a Pranavaha. The Pavane Prakarshena Pranavana Avan Urvandan Elloralam Yapudum Tudika Padubavan. One who is always worshipped by the mantra. Atah Pranavaha Omkaraha Vachakaha Abhidhayakaha Ityarthaha. So Omkara is the name. Om nu sonna adanaladha நம்ம எல்லாரும் பாக்கும்போது ஹரி ஓம்னு சொல்றோம். ஒருத்தர் பாக்கும்போது greet பண்ணும்போது எப்படி சொல்றோம்? Hello, hi. We don't normally shall stay. We should always fold our hands and greet people first time when we see them in the morning or whoever we meet first time in the day. We will greet them with Hari Om, Hari Om Ji. Why this Hari Om? This Om is the name of the God. You see the person as an Atma Swarupa. Since you yourself are an Atma Swarupa, the entire world is also pervaded by the Ishvara. This thing, Ishvara is a Sarvavyapi. So every individual is also a representative of the same God. So he is not someone different from God. That is the Advaita Bhava. That is why we greet them with Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. So Tasya Parameshwarasya Pranavaha eva Vachakaha. Ishvaraha Vachyaha Om iti Pranavaha Vachakaha. So there is the name and Vyakti. Yeah, Nama Vyaktihi. Iyam Vyaktihi. Asyaha Vyaktehe Nama Venugopalaha. Yeah, இந்த உடலுக்கு தான் व्यक्ति பேரு இந்த உடலுக்கு தான் பேரு வேணுகோபாலன் இல்லையா அது மாதிரி ஒத்தொத்தருக்கும் பேரு நாமனா நிர்திஷ்யமான व्यक्ति விசேஷः இது ரெண்டும் தான் always we are dealing with சரியா ईश्वरस्य निर्देशः कथमस्ति अस्मिन् विषये पतञ्जलिः वदति इत्थं नामधेयम् अभिधाय पूर्वम् ईश्वर प्रणिधानात् इत्युक्तं तत् प्रणिधानं सफलम् उपदर्शयति द्वाभ्याम्. Then இதுக்கப்புறம் சொல்ல போற there are two sutras are going to be told by Patanjali Bhagavan here. There is a lead that you can find here. இத்தம் நாமதேயம் அபிதாய ஈஸ்வரனுக்கு நாமதேயம் முதல்ல ஈஸ்வரர் ஒரு ஐடென்டிட்டி சொன்னார். He first brought the idea called Ishvara. Then he identified the Ishvara with all the Lakshanams. Then he identified the Ishvara's speciality. How he cannot be matched with the individuals, the humans was established. Then his name was slowly brought in. Is Tasya Vachakaha Pranavaha. Then he says Tajjapaha Tadartha Bhavanam. Namadheyam Abhidhaya. Pera Channaparam. Purvam Ishvara Pranidhanadva. The option was given, no? That is now being referred to here again. Tat Pranidhanam Satphalam Upadarshagati Dvabhya. Eppadi Ishvara Pranidhanam? How to surrender before the God? Ishvara eppadi purinjikkuradhu? How to understand the Bhagavan? Tajjapaha. And the Pranavathinoடைய ஜபம். Tad Artha Bhavanam. அதனுடைய அர்த்தத்தை மனசுக்குள்ள தியானம் பண்ணணும். Japaha, that is why the sannyasis, the muktas will alone do the pranava japa. They will have only pranava japa. For us, pranava will be the starting one, but we have a Gayatri. We have pranava, then Bhur Bhuva Suva Vyahritis, and Gayatri mantra, whatever we know. Then Omapaha Jyotirsaha Amritam Brahma Bhur Bhuva Suva Om. You end up with also Om. You start with Om, end up with Om. In pranayama or Gayatri japa, wherever you go, the entire Japa will start with Om and end with Om. That's why Tajjapaha, Tasya Japaha, Tajjapaha. Kasya Japaha, Om iti Pranavasya Japa. Then the Arthasya Bhavanam. Enna artham irukku? A, U, rendu sedudha O achi. The Om will have A, U and Bindu Im. Akarasya Aksharanam Akarosmi. You will please remember the shloka from the Gita. So A is the Prakriti Purusha Tattvam. U is the Jiva Tattvam. There is several definitions given for this Om. This A is Vishnu and the U is the Parabrahma and Jiva Tattva and Inakirade. Rendu peri Sekarade Bindu. The connecting agent is the Bindu. Whatever this we have, the Im, Anuswara, you have, that is. So, Akaraha, Ukaraha, together O, and they are all identically brought together and looked at as a single identity. Om. So there is Artha Bhavam. That is why I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. All the Upanishad Vakyams, whatever Mahavakyam that you have, the Sara of all the Mahavakyas is this Om. That is why Atma Brahmaikyam Asavadityo Brahma, Aham Brahma, Brahmaiva Satyam, Brahmaiva Ahamasmi. Sanjyanantara solringle. All these ideas are brought in a single Om. So, Tadartha Bhavanam, every time when you do the Pranava Japa, you have to remind yourself that you are none other than the Swarupa of the Parabrahma. Though the yoga doesn't talk about Advaita directly, but indirectly the yoga system will lead you to Advaita system. If you do the research properly, definitely you will be led to the idea of Advaita. This is my experience going by all the Vyakhyanas, whatever that I have seen so far. In my understanding, the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali talks about the Dvaita, but this Dvaitam is also will lead you to Advaita Bhavana slowly. The seed for that is sown in this sutra. Tajjapaha Tadartha Bhavanam. Okay, Saha Tajjapaha Tadartha Bhavanam. When the japa is performed and also followed by Artha Bhavanam, realizing the meaning of the Artha Japa, the meaning of the Om. When you do it, slowly what will happen? Tataha, after Tadartha Bhavanam, when you realize the meaning of the Om, then what will happen? Pratyak Chetanadhigamaha Apyantaraya Bhavascha. Two things will happen simultaneously. You will have the Jnanam wherein the Jiva is separated and Ishvara is separated. You will realize that you are no more the body, you are no more an individual, you are no more an ahankrita Jiva, but you are a liberated soul. That is, that you are part of this Parabrahma. Brahma Sakshatkara is conveyed in this Artha. Tataha Pratyak Chetanadhigamaha is nothing else but Brahma Sakshatkara will happen. Aham Brahmasmi is the experience that one will end up with. Antaraya Bhava, the moment he realizes that Aham Brahmasmi in Tattva, then all the troubles and struggles as humans would face will all vanquish. They will all vanish, just like a jadu. Jim, boom, ba. Every marriage pomo, ade madri. There are 9 things that will get vanished. Antarayana taraigal. All the pratibandhakas, all the impediments will go off. What are they? We will see there. The yoga Ishvara Vachaka Pranavasya Japaha Ishvara Swarupasya Manasi Chintanam Cha Ishvarasya Pradhanam Bhavati. ஈஸ்வரனுடைய தெரிவிக்கக்கூடிய வாச்சகமான பிரணவத்தை ஜபம் செய்தாலும் ஈஸ்வர ஸ்வரூபம் எப்படி இருக்கும், எப்படி வேணா எடுத்துட்டு போட்டோம் உங்களுக்கு. அந்த ஸ்வரூபத்தினுடைய மனசு சிந்தனம் அர்த்தத்தை மனசை எப்படி வச்சுக்கோங்க. பின்னாடி சொல்ல போறார். ஈவன் ராம கிருஷ்ண இந்த மாதிரி சகுனோபாசனையில் வரக்கூடியது கூட யோகத்தில் எப்படி ஹெல்ப் பண்ண போகிறதுங்கிறது பின்னாடி சொல்ல போகிறார் இன் சம் அதர் சூத்ரா. ஸோ whatever swarupam of Ishvara that you have in your understanding and idea, you may have it. Tadasi manasi chintanam cha Ishvarasya pranidhanam bhavati. This is the way of surrendering to Bhagavan. Pranavasya japati antaratmanaha sakshatkaraha. இல்லை பாக்கியாத்மாவாக இருக்கக்கூடியதான ஜீவன் சரீரம் எல்லாம் போய் அந்தராத்மாவனுடைய சாட்சாத், அதுதான் பரபிரம்ம சாட்சாத்காரா. ததா சேம் மொமெண்ட் விக்னானாம் அபாவா. த மொமெண்ட் when the Brahma Sakshatkara happens, the same moment all the other impediments will also go off. Vignanam abhava cha bhavati. You see here, etaduktam bhavati tasya pranavasya yo japaha tasmin dirghakala nairantarya सत्कारैहि तदर्थ संग चिद्रूप ईश्वर भावना पुरस्सरम प्राधान्येन दृढ़म आसेविते सति. When you realize the meaning of the pranava, what will happen? Tasmin jape dirgha kala. You have to perform it over a period of time, not one day or 2 days. Dirgha kala, nairantarya, satkarahi. All these three things that we had discussed earlier should be there. Tadartha asanga chidrupa. The God will be realized as someone who will have no sanga, no connection with any of things that is related to this srishti. Chidrupa, when jnana swarupa, Ishvara bhavana purasaram. The Ishvara is not having any sanga, sambandha with anything that is related to this mundane world. Tadrisha bhavana purasaram pradhanyena dridham asevite sati. When you take that much sincerity in your mind and understand the Ishvara's attributes, paschate, then after that swatayeva vagyapar rupe tasmin praline. Adukapar pechu muchu kandavar vindavar kandilar. The ones who once you realize Bhagavan, you will have nothing to speak about him. Kandavar, the people who have obtained the Atma Sakshatkara, vindilar, avangalaala solla mudiyadhu idamitham. Vindavar kandilar. Yaradhu Bhagavan ipdi appdi sonna ava idvaraikum paakkalenu artham. This meaning is elaborated in the 11th chapter, Vibhuti Adhyaya in Bhagavad Gita. இல்லையா? அங்கே சுவாமியுடைய விராட் ஸ்வரூபம் சொல்லும்போது இவ்வளோ பெருசுனா, அர்ஜுனா இஸ் த ஜீவாஸ் ரெப்ரசன்டேட்டிவ், பகவான் இஸ் தி செல்ஃப் ரெப்ரசன்டேட்டிவ். தேர் பகவான் ஷோஸ் தி டிஃபரன்ஸ் பிட்வீன் தி ஜீவாஸ் அண்ட் ஈஸ்வரா. இல்லையா? அந்த 11th சாப்டர் ஒருத்தர் திருப்பி ரிலீஸ் பண்ணி பாருங்க. ஹவு பிக் ஹீ இஸ். அதை ஒரு ஃபிகரேட்டிவ்ல சொல்லணுங்கிறதுக்காக தான் பகவானுடைய அந்த விஸ்வரூபம் காட்சி கிடைக்கிறது. ஸோ வாச்சகஸ்ய தஸ்மின் ஏவம் வாக்வியாபார ரூபே தஸ்மின் பிரலீனே. when all other வாக்வியாபார, there is a business through whatever, through speech you try to either assess or define whatever it is, everything will be of no use thereafter. வாச்சகஸ்ய ஞக்பாவாத், வாச்சகஸ்ய நம்ம பிரணவஸ்ய ஞக்பாவாத், அதுக்குள்ள போயிடும், will be subdued. तदर्थ असंग चिद्रूप गोचर वृत्ति संतान रूप भावनायाम दीर्घकालादिभिः दृढ़म आसेवितायां ततः तत्प्रसादेन चित्तं निरोधाभिमुखं प्रत्यासत्य भावेन ईश्वरं विश्रांति भूमितया लभमानं सत् तत्सादृश्यात् स्वस्वामिनं असंग चिद्रूपम आत्मानं स्मारयित्वा अविषयतया तमपि अलभमानं निरिन्धनाग्निवत् स्वयं संस्कारावशेषं भवति. What happens here? Once the realization takes place, vachakasya, whatever the vachya Ishvara, vachaka omkara pranava, so vachakasya nyakbhava, therefore vayal pesa vendi asya. When the realization takes place, there is nothing to further do, nothing to do further. Even the Vagvyapara is of no use. That is why Vagvyapara Rupe Tasmin Praline, when it is subdued, Vachakasya Nyakbhavat Tadartha, aduடைய அர்த்தமான பகவான் Asanga Chidrupa Gochara, who will be understood as someone who has no Sangha, Sambandha with anything that is related to Samsara. Santana Rupa Bhavanayam, that continues to be there in your idea. ஒரு தடவை வந்தாச்சுன்னா அதுக்கப்புறம் அறுபடாமல் தொடர்ந்து அந்த சாட்சாத்கார அனுபவம் இருந்துகிட்டே இருக்கு. பிரம்ம சாட்சாத்கார அனுபவம் will continue for him. தீர்க்க காலாதிபிஹி திருடம் ஆசேவிதாயாம், through his practice when it is coming, tatastat prasadena, by the grace of that God, chittam nirodhabimukha. If chittam enarde, absolutely there is nothing to go outside but towards in antarmukham. That is why chittam nirodhabimukam, complete விருத்திகளெல்லாம் அடங்கி போய் பிரத்யாசத்திய பாவனை அதுக்கு மேலே எதோடையும் ரிலேட் பண்ணக்கூடிய ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி இல்லாததுனால ஈஸ்வரம் விஸ்ராந்தி பூமித்தையா, நத்திங் எல்ஸ் இட் ஹாஸ் டு டூ, ஒன்லி டு திங்க் ஆன் ஈஸ்வர அலோன். விஸ்ராந்தி பூமித்தையா லபமானம் சத்து, வித் ஹேவிங் நத்திங் எல்ஸ் பட் ஈஸ்வரா ஹிம்செல்ஃப். தத் சாதிருஷ்யாத்து. இப்போ அது மட்டும் தான் ரெஃப்ளெக்ட் பண்ண முடியும், வேறு எதுவுமே இந்த மனசால ரெஃப்ளெக்ட் பண்ண முடியாது இல்லையா? So Swaminam Asanga Chidrupam Atmanam Smarayitva Abhishayataya, where there is nothing else to transact business with, Tamapi Alabhamanam Nirindhanagnivati Swayam Samskara Avashesham Bhavati. Then the mind also will feel that it has nothing to do with, because the Brahma Sakshatkara has happened to the Atma, the mind will have nothing to do. It is also Manonasham. This is what is called Manonasha. Samskara Avashesham Bhavati. There is no Bhuta called, there is no this Indriya called Manas. Tamapi Alabhaman Nirindhanataya. Eppo Agniku wood irundhe irundha Agni eriyum. When there is no fuel, Agni also will die. Vishayamங்கிறது தான் அதுக்கு fuel. அந்த விஷயம்ங்கிற fuel எடுத்தாச்சுன்னா Agni will have nothing to again stay afloat. So it has to die. Slowly when கட்டையை பிடுங்கிச்சுன்னா நெருப்பு அணைகிற மாதிரி விஷயத்தை பிடுங்கியாச்சுன்னா மைண்ட் ஆல்சோ வில் டை டவுன் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக். தட் இஸ் நோன் ஆஸ் மனோநாச. நிருந்தனத்தனியா அக்னிவதி ஸ்வயம் சம்ஸ்காராவசேஷம். அப்போ என்ன ஆகும்? வெறும் முக்தர்களுக்கு இந்த மனசானது ஒரு சம்ஸ்காரமாக இருக்குமே தவிர it will not create any havoc in his mind to again pull him back into samsara. Tatah pratyak chetanadhigamaha. Then he has this special pratyak nama velila pogamukam பிராக் பிரத்யக் உள்முகமாக அந்தர்முகமாக ஒரு சேத்தனாதிகமான ஒரு ஈஸ்வரனுடைய சாட்சாத்காரம் கிடைக்கிறது. இந்த பிரத்யக்ஷாசவு சேத்தனாச்சே தஸ்யாக பிராப்தி அதிகமாக. சர்வாந்தரதையா பாசமானா சித்தி சக்தி, எல்லாத்துக்கும் நடுவிலும் இருக்கக்கூடியதான ஞான ஸ்வரூபமாக இந்த சக்தி ஸ்வே மகிம்னு நிரந்தரம் நிர்விக்னம் அவதிஷ்டதே. Then from that moment there is absolutely ஈஸ்வர Bhava alone remains there, nothing else is there. The manam will also have nothing to do. It also got itself lost and remain only as a samskara in your body until you live there. Sarvantartaya bhasamana chiti shakti swe mahimni nirantaram nirvignam avatisthate. Ataha sarvasam vrittinam pravilayate. When mana is not at all in a position to attract, but attracted by various vishayas through indriyas, sarvasam vrittinam pravilayat. No vrittis that take place thereafter. Antaraya bhavascha. All the stumbling blocks also give way to you to reach the kaivalyam. Ayam ekaha ஈஸ்வர பிரணிதானஸ்ய விசேஷா. ஈஸ்வர பிரணிதானம் பண்ணினா என்ன நடக்கும் அப்படின்னா, even the ஈஸ்வர பிரணிதானம் takes place, all your inner struggles, உலகத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடியதான various impediments are there. Through vrittis also, through vrittis alone you are attracted towards all these things. When the vrittis are no more there, mana is also no more there, all these things will not be able to disturb you. So all these things will go off. Another, what is that? Parang vyadhi sthana samshaya pramada alasya avirati bhranti darshana alabdha bhumikatva alabdha bhumikatvani avasthitattvani anavasthitattvani chitta vikshepaha te antarayaha. Anavasthitatva. Yeah, there are 9 stumbling blocks for jivas from realizing the atma. இந்த 9 தான் மனிதனை சாட்சாத்காரம் அடைய விடாமல் தடுக்கக்கூடிய ஸ்டம்பிளிங் பிளாக்ஸ். இவை எத்தனையும் தானாகவே ரிமூவ் ஆகிடும். You see, Sandarbha. Ke santi te vignaha. Vignanam antaraya. All the vignanam abhava, antaraya bhava. When you claim that antarayas, the vignas will be moving away. Pratipadagati. Ke te antaraya. Idadalla anda tadaigal. It apekshayam aha vyadhi, sthana, samshaya, pramada, alasya, avirati, bhranti darshana, alabdha bhumikatva, anavasthitatva. All these 9 are chitta vikshepaha. Unuடைய mind alakazhikka கூடிய விஷயங்கள். These are all the 9 which are always distracting you. Te antarayaha. Those are the 9 stumbling blocks in your life, in your way from realizing the Atma Sakshatkara. Nanda Aham Brahmasminga Sakshatkarate Adaividamal Tadukakudiyavaigal. All these 9. Vyadhi. Targo. Vyadhihi. Anutsaha. Styanam is Anutsaha. Absolutely no interest in learning the truth. Sandeha. Doubt. Anavadhanam. Anavadhanam nama? No concentration. Mandya bhavaha. Sluggishness. Chapalata, fickle-minded. Ayathartha jnanam, always be misguided by his own understanding. Samadhehe alabha, unable to attain the samadhi. Samadho anavasthanam, even samadhi is attained but cannot remain there for a longer time. All these are yoga vignaha. These are stumbling blocks in attaining yoga. Yoga is samadhi. Samadhi அடையவிடாமல் தடுக்கக்கூடியவைகள் இந்த 9. இவைகள் அனைத்தும் நீங்கிவிடும். சித்தம் யோகாத் பிரம்சந்தி. சித்தம் யோகாத் சமாதேகே பிரம்சயந்தினா உன்னை கீழே தள்ளுபவைகள், உன்னை அடையவிடாமல் தடுக்கக்கூடியவைகள் இந்த 9. ஏ சித்தம் யோகாத் விக்ஷிபந்தி. These 9 ye chittam bhavatah chittam manaha yogat samadhi praptehe vikshipanti, moving you away from samadhi. Yoga. Unnai yogam என்ற சித்தியை சமாதியை அடையவிடாமல் தடுக்கக்கூடியதான 9 தே நவ விக்ஷேபாக, ஸ்டம்பிளிங் பிளாக்ஸ். யோகஸ்ய அந்தராயா, யோகம் அடைவதில் சமாதியை நாம் அடைவதில் தடையாய் இருக்கக்கூடியவைகள் விக்னா, ஸ்டம்பிளிங் பிளாக்ஸ். தத்திர தோஷத்ரய வைஷமிய நிமித்தா ஜராதி வியாதி. தோஷத்ரயம்னு என்ன? வாத பித்த கப. இந்த தோஷத்ரயம் தூஷ்யந்தே சப்தபிஹி தாத்துபிஹி. ஆயுர்வேதத்தை நீங்களும் பார்த்துருப்பேன். இன் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர் யூ வுட் ஹவ் லேர்ன்ட் ஆயுர்வேதா. அதில் உங்களுக்கு 7 தாத்துக்கள் சொல்கிறார். There are 7 dhatus. He introduced that. Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Medas, Asthi, Majja, Shukra. These 7 are vital things in the body that keep your body afloat. இல்லையா? இதனால் தோஷம் அடைகிறது இந்த வாத பித்த கப. So these चित्तस्य नवविक्षेपाः भवन्ति. तत्र ज्वरादिः व्याधिः, all the jwara like whatever the disease that you have, they all happen due to the imbalance of this vata pitta kapha. Vikaro dhatu vaishamyam samyam prakriti ruchyate sukha samyakam arogyam vikaro dukkhamevacha. That we have already learned from our Ayurveda class. So all the vyadhis that happen, that is ragadi rogan satatanushaktan asheshakaya prasritan asheshan autsukya moharatidan jaghana yopurva vaidyaya namostu tasmai. All the raga kama krodha lobha moha mada matsarya, these shut are the reasons for the mind gets corrupted. This corruption in turn affects your body. When the kapam disturbed, your sattva guna is disturbed. When the rajas is disturbed in your mind, then the pittam of your body will be disturbed. When the vata, when the tamas, when the tamaguna is disturbed there, then your vata is disturbed there in your body. So vata, pitta, kapha are corresponding physical terms that are reflecting the three gunas of mind. Sattvam is directly related to kapam. Rajas is related to pittam. Tamas is related to vata. You see? Same way here, Juradihi Vyadi Doshatraya Vaishamya Nimittaha. These Doshatraya, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, these Vaishamyam, when they three go into imbalanced state of each other, then all the Juras like Vyadis will happen. But when the Pratyak Chetanadikava, when the Atma Sakshatkara happens, thereafter the Jiva Mukta will never attract any Vyadi in his body. Yenna sir? இப்படி சொல்கிறேளே அப்படி தான் ரமண மகர்ஷி ஜீவன் முக்தர் தானே, அவருக்கு நோய் வந்ததே, கேன்சர் வந்ததே, யூ மீன் ஆஸ்க் மீ. தட் இஸ் டு only the karma. He was able to manage. That is why he didn't want to get that particular problem treated. Only the Shishyas forced him to undergo the treatment. Otherwise, he was not at all cared about the problem that he had in his body. But even the yogis who live for 100 years, 200 years, 300 years without attracting any of these kinds of health issues are only through this. Only the Atma Sakshatkara will lead you to the state where you don't have any Vyadi thereafter until you cease to exist. Okay? That is the first thing what is achieved here is winning over the Vyadhis. All health issues will be won over. No health issues will afflict him thereafter. Is the beauty. Then Chittasya Akarmanyatvam Styanam. Mind la velaye sayila sir unnume from அப்படியே வெயிட் உட்கார்ந்திருக்கான். ஞாயிற்றுக்கிழமை ஆச்சுன்னா it doesn't wake up. படுக்கல 9 மணி வரைக்கும் படுத்துட்டு இருக்கான். 10 மணி வரைக்கும் தூங்குறான். That is Chittam, when it is not active, it is known as Styanam. Chittasya Akarmanyatvam. Without involves itself with any action. அப்படியே சோம்பேறியா உட்கார்ந்திருக்கிறது. That is Styanam. Viruddha Kotidvaya Avagahi Jnanam Samshaya. Samshaya is something oscillating between two. Irko, illiyo, irko, illiyo, irkumo, irkumo, irkada, irkada, irkuma. Always struggling between these two. நம்பவும் முடியல, நம்பாமல் இருக்கவும் முடியல. கடவுள் இருக்காரா? இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கு. சிச்சி கடவுளா ஒன்றும் கிடையாதுப்பா. Sometimes again the Nastika Buddhi also occur, creep in, and him it disturbs. So always oscillating between belief and non-belief. There is Sandehaspadam. So yeah, Viruddha Kotidva இருக்குன்னா இல்லைன்னு அர்த்தம். இருக்குன்னு இருந்தால் இல்லைங்கிறது கிடையாது. இல்லையா இருந்தால் இருக்க முடியாது. இரண்டுத்துக்கு நடுவில் இருக்கக்கூடியதான தடுமாற்றம். அதான் விருத்த கோட்டித்வய அவகாஹி ஞானம் சம்சய. அஹிம்சா சத்யாதி சாதனானாம் அபாவனம் பிரமாதா. அஹிம்சை சத்தியம் அஸ்தேயம்னு எதையெல்லாம் சொல்லுவோமோ அதெல்லாம் அவருக்கு ஸ்பாட்ல கிடையவே கிடையாது. அதான் அலட்சியம். பிரமாதம் நாம அலட்சியம். லெத்தார்ஜிக் ஆட்டிடியூட். We call it lethargic attitude. He doesn't stick to ahimsa, satyam, whatever is the constituent of dharma. இல்லையா? தர்மத்துக்கு அடியில் நம்ம என்னென்னலாம் புரிஞ்சுக்கிறோம்? அஹிம்சா, சத்தியம், அஸ்தேயம், சௌச்சம், இந்திரிய நிகிரஹ, தானம், தமஹ, தயா, க்ஷாந்தி, சர்வேஷாம் தர்ம சாதனம். All these things will be given up. இஷ்டத்துக்கு இருக்கான். ஏன்னா அவனுக்கு உடம்புல சோம்பேறித்தனம் இருக்கு. பிரமாத அப்படிங்கிற சொல்லக்கூடியத சம்ஸ்கிருதத்தில் இருக்கிற பிரமாதம்க்கு தனியாக அர்த்தம். தமிழ் பிரமாதம் இஸ் டிஃபரெண்ட். பிரமாதம் அப்படின்னு தமிழ் சொன்னால் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு. இதே சம்ஸ்கிருதத்தில் பிரமாதம் சொன்னால் அலட்சியம்னு அர்த்தம். கவனக்குறைவு, லேக் ஆஃப் கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன் தான் பிரமாதம் இன் சான்ஸ்கிரிட். ஸோ அஹிம்சா சத்யாதி சாதனானாம் அபாவனம். அஹிம்சை பற்றி கவலை இல்லை, சத்தியம் உண்மை பேசணுங்கிறத பற்றி கவலை இல்லை. எல்லாத்தையும் ஒரு அலட்சிய சுபாவம், அது செட் ஆகும். அடுத்தது காய வாக் சித்த குருத்வாது அப்ரவர்த்தி ஆலசியம். உடம்புல ஒரு தடித்தனம், எந்த வேலையும் செய்யாமல் தள்ளி போடுறது, ப்ரோக்ராஸ்டினேஷன். சித்தத்தில் மைண்டு வேலை செய்யல, அப்படியே ஸ்டம்பிளாக இருக்குது, ஷார்ப்பாக வேலை செய்ய மாட்டேங்கிறது. அதுக்கு பேர் ஆலசியம், சோம்பேறித்தனம். இட் இஸ் நோன் ஆஸ் சோம்பேறித்தனம். விஷயாபிலாஷா விரதி. அவிரதினா விஷயாபிலாஷா விரதி, அவிரதினா விஷயாபிலாஷத்துவம். aviratihi. அப்போ விஷய அனிபிலாஷத்துவம், விஷயங்களில் சப்த ஸ்பர்ஷ ரூப ரச கந்த இதுகளெல்லாம் உனக்கு இருக்கக்கூடிய விருப்பமானது சம்பந்தமானது நீங்கிவிடும். தட் இஸ் விஷயாபிலாஷா அவிரதி. அத்தஸ்மின் தத்புத்தி பிராந்தி தர்சனம். அத்தஸ்மின் தத்புத்தி, கிழிஞ்சலை பார்த்து வெள்ளி என்று நினைத்து கொண்டால், அத்தஸ்மின் எது ரூபியம் நபவதி, வெள்ளியாக இல்லையோ வெறும் கிழிஞ்சலோ அதில் போய் வெள்ளிங்கிற ஞானம் வந்ததுன்னா அது அத்தஸ்மின் தத்புத்தி. வெள்ளியாக இல்லாத கிழிஞ்சலில் வெள்ளியாக அறிவு வந்தால் அது அஜ்ஞானம். வெள்ளியில் வெள்ளி ஞானம் வந்தால் அது யதார்த்த ஞானம் இல்லையா? இருட்டில் கயிறு பார்த்தா பாம்புன்னு தோணும், வெளிச்சம் போட்டு பார்த்தா அது கயிறு. அப்போது அத்தஸ்மின் பாம்பாக இல்லாத கயத்தில் தத்புத்தி பாம்பு புத்தி, அது பாம்பு என்ற நினைப்பு வந்ததுன்னா அது அயதார்த்த ஞானம். ததேவ அத்தஸ்மின் தத்புத்தி பிராந்தி தரிசனம். எல்லாம் பிராந்தி, மனப்பிராந்தி சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா? திஸ் இஸ் தட் பிராந்தி தரிசனம். குதஷ்டத்தை நிமித்தாத்து சமாதி பூமே அலாபா. ஏதோ காரணம் பாப்பம் சமாதி கிடைக்கும். He is performing everything that is required for attaining samadhi, but still is unable to attain that samadhi. அந்த ஸ்டம்பிளிங் பிளாக்கும் போகும். குதஷ்டத் நிமித்தா, ஏதோ ஒரு ரீசன்னால சமாதி பூமேகே அலாபா, சமாதி என்ற அந்த ஒரு பொசிஷனை அடைய முடியாமல் போகக்கூடியதானது அபூமிகத்துவம். சரசம் கிடைக்கும் சமாதி, 2-3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes வரைக்கும் கூட கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன் நிற்கும். பரந்து சித்தஸ்ய அப்பிரதிஷ்டானம், அங்கே ரொம்ப நேரம் இருக்க முடியல. அகைன் ஸ்லிப்பிங், அகைன் பேக் டு ஸ்கொயர் ஒன். ஸோ ஆல் தீஸ் 9 are stumbling block in attaining the yoga samadhi. When the pratyak chetana happens, atma sakshatkara happens, that moment itself all these 9 will give way for you to retain that jnana. That is why these 9 are very, very important to know. When these 9 you are get rid of, then absolutely they will be permanently staying with the Brahma Jnanam. So whenever whoever you see them only as a Brahma, not as someone X, Y, Z. So whatever they do will not affect you. என்ன பண்ணினாலும் உன்னை அது அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணாது. உனக்கு எதிராக வேலை செஞ்சால் கூட உன்னை அது அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணாது. Because you know these are all part of Brahman itself. Through karmic design they are born. அப்படின்னு எல்லாரையும் உங்களால் மன்னிக்க முடியும், ஏற்றுக்க முடியும். That is why India has accepted all the invaders. Whoever came here either for propagating their own religion, they were all accepted here because all our earlier people have this Vedantic idea. That is why any idea that comes in newly, they are accepted here. Okay, you also come. If you convince our people, if they accept, let them. We are not bothered about what you preach here. But the same thing has now become detrimental for the growth of our country as a state. That we all have been experiencing it in reality in today's context. But in earlier society, how every other religion which entered India through various channels and means, but still we accepted them. We gave them the space, let it be Buddha or Jaina or anything for that matter, Christianity or Islam, whoever, whichever faith system that entered India were accepted because we had this idea. So this is also a very, very important sutram to learn. Thank you.